Hey guys, it's Mr. Walker here, and welcome to a super quick edition of Math with Mr. Walker. Today we are going to be continuing our work with division and looking at some of the odd, weird things that sometimes happen with division that we got to be prepared for, because you know about me, I'm all about the weird, odd stuff. I'm a little bit weird and odd myself. So we're actually going to be taking a look today at zeros in division. What happens when we encounter zeros? And we're going to be looking at how we can solve division problems that either have a zero in the dividend or a zero in the quotient. So either a zero in the number that we're trying to divide or a zero in our quotient when we are dividing. So we're just going to look at two quick examples, and then you guys are going to move on and practice this yourself. All right, so here's my first example. I have 804 divided by 4. So as you can see right away, I have a zero right in the middle of this number. So we're going to see like what happens when we get to that zero, what we need to do, and what's actually going on that affects the way that we're going to divide. So just because there's a zero here doesn't mean I have to really start my division process any different, okay? I'm going to do the same thing like we always do, and I'm going to look at that 8, right? So 800s to start off, and I'm going to be putting them into 4 groups. So I'm going to see how many I can put into each group and if they go in evenly. And as luck would have it, they do go in quite evenly and quite nicely. So if I were to divide them out here, if I take those 8 hundreds that I have and I put them into 4 groups, I'm going to end up with 2 in every group, right? So that's easy enough. So I'll have 2 in each group. And if I multiply those, obviously we get 8, right? Because I used all 8 of them up, okay? So now I could subtract to see if I have any left that I have to like regroup or bring over. When I subtract, no, I don't have any left. Now we're going to move on to this 0, right? So 0. Right now I have zeros, 2 zeros. So can I take nothing and put it into these 4 groups? If I take that nothing and put it into 4 groups, how much is it going to be in each group? Nothing, right? They're going to be empty. So there's going to be 0 in those groups. So nothing is getting moved around. Nothing's getting put into groups. Nothing's getting divided. So I'm going to put a 0 there because nothing's getting moved. And now I can move on to my next number, which would be 4. So I still have those 4 left, okay? And let me go back to the standard algorithm for a second. If you'd like, you can do 0 up here. You could do 4 times 0 is 0. Then I can subtract. And then I can bring down. You don't really need to do it, but if you'd like to do it just to keep track and make sure you're going on through all the steps, totally fine. All right? So now I bring down the 4 here, okay? And I have my 4 ones left to divide. So if I put those ones, if I divide them up into 4 groups, I'd have 1. Basically, I'd have 1 in each group. So I'd write the 1 here, 4 times 1 is 4, and subtract, and I have no remainder. So my answer, my quotient would be 201, 201, okay? And I went through the same way. If I had 0 things to divide, well, I can't divide them into groups of 4, so nothing are in those groups of 4 or in those 4 groups, and then I just move on to the next one. I just have to make sure that I put a 0 in there to kind of like hold that spot to represent that I'm not putting anything in those groups, okay? Hopefully that would make sense. Let's go ahead and look at another one where we're going to actually have a 0 in the quotient again in our answer and see what that looks like. Okay, so for this one we have a little bit bigger of a number. I have 4,218 and I'm dividing that by 3. I'm dividing that into groups of 3. 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. We'll see how they lay out when we do it. So I'm going to start off with this 4 here, these 4,000s. I'm going to put them into groups of 3. So if I did that, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and then this guy is not going to be able to fit anywhere, so he's going to stay by himself. So what I'm basically showing there is that I would have 1 in each group. 3 times 1 is 3. Subtract. We'll have 1 dude left, so I'm going to end up bringing him over here, except that he's going to change to 100. And he's actually not going to change to 100. He's going to change to 10 hundreds, right? 10 hundreds, and then I can divide them up. All right, so I'd end up with 4 in each group, which is excellent. To go back to do the standard algorithm for a second, again, I would have to bring down that 2 here, right? So I'd have 12 total, and if I was putting 12 into groups of 3, or if I was counting by 3s to see how close I can get to 12, that'd be 4. 3, 6, 9, 12, right? 3 times 4 is 12. So I'm going to subtract, and got 0 left, right? 0. So what do? If I just stop there, I have no remainder, I'm good to go. No, I can't stop there. I still have my 10s I still have my 10s and my 1s that I have to divide, right? I still have to put them into some places. So what I can do now is I can bring down this 1 here, okay? And how many 1s are going to be in each group of, or in each of those 3 groups? If I take that 1, can I divide it into 3 groups? No, I can't, right? So I can't do it. It's not going to work. So I'm going to put a 0 right here. I'm not going to say that's a remainder 1. I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to keep going because I have my 1s over here that I have to deal with. So this 10, which I think I might have called a 1 before, so I apologize about that. But this 10, it can't be grouped into groups of 3. It can't be put into these 3 groups. So I have to regroup it. I have to bring it over. But I have to put a 0 in here because there's going to be nothing in my 10s place, okay? So I put a 0 there. And then 3 times 0 is 0. Subtract. That would still be 1. And I'm going to bring down my 18. I'm sorry, I'm going to bring down my 8, which would give me 18. And now I can divide that up. So 3 times 6 would give me 18. Subtract, and I have no remainder now. And I went through all my place values, so I'm good to go. So hopefully that's starting to make sense. I didn't go ahead and unbundle those and like decompose it and write it out, but I think you guys get the idea. So you can see that zeros might come into play sometimes when you're dividing, and it's okay. Don't freak out. They're just zeros, right? They're not going to hurt anybody. Just use them wisely. Pay attention to what you need to do, and don't stop when you get to a 0 here, and make sure you're putting zeros in here if you're not able to break up that place value, okay? Hopefully this makes sense. You guys are going to practice this a little more today. Of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please reach out and let me know. And I thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.